This movie wasn't as good as I remembered. It's definitely kind of vulgar at times. And like a good first half hour, maybe. And it's an hour and a half long movie. I remember this movie just being about Heath Ledger and the girl, but it actually had a very big, complicated plot that kind of works and kind of doesn't. There's a bunch of recognizable actors in here, obviously, Heath Ledger, and they have one dude that's kind of annoying, doesn't really do much in this movie, but he is Bernard from the Tim Allen movies, Santa Claus movies, which, by the way, I don't like Tim Allen. Look up some stuff about him. Um, then the crazy thing is the other main character in this movie, I don't remember his name, and I actually don't really care to look it up because I haven't really seen him in much, and he didn't really do much in the other movie that I'm going to talk about now, real quick. The other main character in this movie went on to go in the same franchise Heath Ledger was in the very next movie. Heath Ledger obviously played the Joker. He was in The Dark Knight, the second Batman movie. Well, the other main character in the movie plays the so called Robin that they were going to have, and he's in the third movie after Heath Ledger had already passed away. But they are in the same franchise, which I thought was pretty cool coincidence. Because I don't think they hired him for his one little romantic comedy shit. And I do want to talk about one of the romantic comedy tropes real quick. And I want to talk about how I really don't like the girl's sister in this movie. Can't even think of her name right now. Monica. Yeah, Bionica. Don't like her. Well, Bionica, they do the typical thing that I've never liked in movies where a guy confesses his feelings and says, hey, you're kind of treating me like shit. And then they explain why they think that. And then the girl kisses him and it's all better. I've never liked that in movies. And he also was kind of a bit of a bitch too. Like there's openly some sexist shit in this movie, unfortunately. And he never cares. He even joins in on the talk sometimes. But someone says something slightly bad about Bionica, and oh boy, he's about to fight Heath Ledger's character. He's gonna kick his ass. And you want to know what the terrible thing Heath Ledger said was? Which I don't even think his was bad. There was sexist jokes in the movie, but Heath Ledger was like, "Why is everyone so interested in this girl? Does she have beer flavored nipples or something?" Clearly just making a joke because beer is good, and a lot of people like the girl or something. It was dumb. It was just a dumb joke, and he's about to fucking fight him, which also doesn't even make sense in the movie because everyone acts like everyone's scared of Heath Ledger's character. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, he's so scary," and the only girl that really knows him for who he really is Kat. They're the perfect couple. And everyone's so scared of him. They even have a line about that later in the movie. About how everyone's scared of him. But he was about to fight him because he made a joke about nipples. Okay. They got the typical romantic comedy corny song scene where he tries to make the girl he likes feel better. They got the R slur in this movie by the character I don't like, Bonica. She's just a complete bitch throughout the movie. And talk more about her. She gets mad at her sister for her dad's controlling behavior. Her dad's one of those controlling fucking dads that think his daughters aren't supposed to date unless he wants them to date. And he's so scared that they're gonna get pregnant. He's just a controlling fucking prick, and the movie barely acknowledges it. I think he should have gotten in trouble or got yelled at by the daughters at least once. They had their little petty arguments and they went to the room, but they never made a big deal out of it, which they definitely should have. But she gets mad at her sister for not being normal and not forcing herself to date a guy. Because he ends up making this rule that, hey, you can date someone as long as your sister dates, because he doesn't think her sister will ever date. Doing a very controlling move. Just doing a fucking prick move, really. making a new rule because you purposely think that it'll never happen? Wow. Okay. Um, so then she ends up dating someone, but sometimes she doesn't want to go out. Like, she doesn't want to go to prom. So her sister's like, oh my god, fuck you. Why can't you make me happy? Just this once, and all this shit. And she's just a complete jerk to her. And then she says the R slur during one scene where she says, why don't you just date someone? And then says the R slur. But, yeah, she's just a bitch. There is some good elements to this movie. There's also some unnecessarily vulgar shit. Like, there's some stuff in the very beginning that I didn't really find funny, where the principal likes to write erotic, is how you say it? Erotic. Erotic fan fiction. And she does that while she works at the school. There's also this other teacher. He's decently funny, but he's also one of those clearly controlling teachers that's a fucking absolute prick. Where he gets mad at a girl because she actually changes her behavior for the better. He's so pissed off that she always has an outspoken opinion and uses her freedom of speech. But then later, she's like, hey, I actually kind of like this project. I think it's a good idea. And he's like, get out of my classroom. Like, fuck you, fuck you, dude. What the fuck? Then, she also flashes her tits to one random teacher we've never seen in the movie before. He's the detention teacher after Heath Ledger's character gets into detention. And she just flashes her tits. They don't show it, but she flashes her tits to a fucking teacher. And then she walks out of detention. You think she would now be put in detention. She's already in the fucking detention room. But no, she just flashes her tits and walks out. But hey, I guess it's just a romantic comedy. You're not supposed to take it too seriously. But at times, this movie was genuinely funny and you could see what it was going for. Other times, it was too vulgar, glanced over sexism, and glanced over the fact that the dad was a controlling asshole. Yeah, that's really about it. I mean, it was a decent movie. I don't think it was terrible. There was funny parts. And, I did end up finishing it. It kept me entertained. But, there's just, it's just not the greatest movie. It doesn't have that much going for it. It's kind of convoluted, too. Oh, and this one guy gets, his ass beat by Veronica after he punches a girl. No, not a girl. He punches the other guy in the movie. But, yeah, that's about it.